PSM ನ್ಯೂಸ್ಗೆ ನುವವಣ ಅಹರಿ ದುಹುಗೆ ಹಾಸ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ತೆಹುಗೆ ತೆರೆಯಿನ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಬೇರು ತಿನೆ ಮೇವಾ ಆದಿತ ದುಹುಗೆ ಎಗಾರ್ಗಡ್ ತಿರಿಹುಗ PSM ನ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್
Making headlines this hour, President's office announces President Dr. Mohammad Muiz will undertake a state visit to Sri Lanka following an invitation from Sri Lankan President. Minister of Education, Higher Education and Skills Development, Dr. Ismail Shafiu, asserts that the cultivation of talented scholars is the most critical investment a nation can make, declaring them more valuable than gold and precious jewels. Velana International Airport VIA handles 2.35 million passengers in the first quarter of 2026, according to newly released data.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Naeem. President's office announces President Dr. Mohammad Muiz will undertake a state visit to Sri Lanka following an invitation from Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayaka. The visit is scheduled to take place from 3rd to 6th May.
During the visit, President Muiz is expected to meet senior Sri Lankan officials and hold official talks with the Sri Lankan President, focusing on further strengthening bilateral relations between the Maldives and Sri Lanka. Several agreements aimed at enhancing cooperation across various sectors are also expected to be exchanged in the presence of both leaders. The President will be accompanied by First Lady Sajida Mohammed, along with a high-level delegation comprising of cabinet ministers and senior government officials. The government stated that President Muiz remains committed to strengthening relations with key partner countries that contribute to the Maldives' development and progress. The visit follows Sri Lankan President's trip to the Maldives in July last year, which coincided with the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries, reflecting the long-standing ties between Male and Colombo.
A weekly press engagement program titled Presser with the Spokes has been launched by the chief government spokesperson at the President's office, Mohammad Hussein Sharif. The inaugural session of the program was held on Thursday, with the spokesperson announcing plans to meet journalists every week if in Male. He said the session are intended to provide regular updates on government activities and to respond directly to information requests from the media. The sessions are expected to run for approximately 55 minutes, during which the spokesperson said he would aim to address as many questions as possible. He added that additional information would be provided where necessary. He also noted that audio and video recordings from the sessions, along with updates on government projects, will be shared through social media platforms, including Instagram and TikTok, to improve public access to information. For this purpose, official accounts have been introduced under the handle The Feed MV. The Minister of Education, Higher Education and Skills Development, Dr. Ismail Shafiu, asserts that the cultivation of talented scholars is the most critical investment a nation can make, declaring them more valuable than gold and precious jewels.
The minister delivered this message during the graduating ceremony for the Faculty of Engineering, Science and Technology and the College of Fisheries and Ocean Resources at the Maldives National University. Speaking to the new cohort of graduates, Minister Ismail Shafiu elaborated on the invaluable nature of human resources, placing them above even the most precious material wealth. He emphasized that the future prosperity and leadership of the Maldives depends on its ability to nurture capable, knowledgeable and courageous citizens. Reflecting on the students' academic journey, Minister Ismail Shafiu framed MNU's role as a monumental national investment. He highlighted that the true value of higher education extends far beyond textbook and syllabi, residing in the invaluable interactions between students and lecturers. The minister also issued a heartfelt call to action, urging all graduates to leverage their newly acquired expertise for the greater good. He encouraged them to step forward in their professional lives with a sense of duty, ready to serve the nation and contribute to its progress.
Velana International Airport, VIA, handles 2.35 million passengers in the first quarter of 2026, according to newly released data.
This represents a 4% increase compared to the same period last year. The figure included international and domestic passengers, as well as travelers using seaplane services. The airport reported that the majority of passengers used international services, with a total of 1.53 million arrivals and departures recorded. Domestic travel accounted for 317,286 passengers, while 498,411 passengers traveled via seaplane. The highest number of passengers using wheel-based aircraft was recorded on the 11th of January with 28,360 travelers. Seaplane operations peaked on the 15th of February with 9,351 passengers recorded on the day. A total of 72,128 air traffic movements were registered during the 3-month period, marking a 5% increase compared to the previous year. Of these, 9,978 were international flights, 7,556 were domestic flights, and 54,594 were seaplane movements. One of the key developments during the quarter was the commencement of operations by Greater Bay Airlines, which introduced new connectivity from China. The opening of Terminal 1 at VIA has also contributed to improved passenger flow and convenience. With the terminal now handling international flights, domestic operation has also been relocated within the facility. VIA, the main gateway to the Maldives, is operated by Maldives Airports Company Limited.
Tourist arrivals from Russia to the Maldives exceeds 100,000 so far this year, making it the second market to reach the milestone after China.
According to statistics released by the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation, a total of 786,529 tourists visited the Maldives as of the 18th of April, representing a 4.8% decline compared to the same period in 2025. Authorities attributed the drop in arrivals to temporary flight cancellations linked to the conflict in the Middle East. However, with airlines resuming operations, tourist arrivals have begun to recover, with a current daily average of approximately 6,600 visitors. Arrivals from Russia reached 100,450, marking a 26.3% increase compared to 79,509 during the same period last year. China remained the leading source market with 116,441 visitors, followed by Russia. Other key markets include the United Kingdom with 71,454 arrivals, Italy with 65,038, and Germany with 52,555. The list of the top 10 source markets also includes India with 36,129 visitors, France with 25,904, the United States with 20,108, Switzerland with 18,833, and Australia with 15,666. Data from the ministry shows that the vast majority of tourists arrived by air, totaling 776,178 travelers. Of these, 766,175 passengers entered through Velana International Airport, while 3,245 arrivals were recorded at Kang International Airport.
Characterizing the Supreme Court's latest ruling as a judicial endorsement of their legislative intent, the governing People's National Congress, a PNC, suggests the decision demonstrates that the Constitution was amended in good faith.
The Sixth Amendment was passed by the 20th Parliament, the party stated, with a similar level of sincere intent. This reaction followed a 29th April decision in which the apex court upheld a constitutional amendment mandating the removal of parliamentary members who change or are expelled from their political parties. The anti-defection provision does not violate the nation's constitutional framework, the court determined, confirming its immediate application to the ongoing 20th Parliament. By validating the amendment, the court effectively agreed that the measure protects democratic institutions according to the PNC. The principle of prohibiting party defection is an established principle in democratic nations globally, the party noted, including those with presidential systems similar to the Maldives. The amendment preserves legislative stability and fortifies the political party framework, the PNC declared, without diminishing any constitutional guaranteed rights. This legislative overhaul, driven by the executive branch, reflects the vision of the President of the Republic and party leader, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz, to reform systematic deficiencies and facilitate stability. President Muiz's strategy, the party said, seeks to structure national affairs while ensuring the fundamental rights and freedoms of the citizens. The governing party will continue to operate in accordance with democratic principles, the PNC concluded, to secure the most beneficial outcomes for the people.
Aishat Azima Shakur, the former Attorney General and a prominent legal scholar, praises the decision by the Supreme Court to uphold the validity of an anti-defection amendment to the Constitution, describing the move as a pivotal development for the nation's constitutional framework.
The ruling affirms that parliamentary members forfeit their seats if they change political parties, a measure the court determined is not unconstitutional. The judicial challenge was initially brought by Ali Hussein, the former member of parliament for Kendu, who petitioned the judiciary to strike down the amendment. Hussein argued that penalizing lawmakers with the loss of their legislative seats for leaving or being expelled from their political factions breached the constitution. The court dismissed this argument, concluding the provision aligns with the nation's constitutional architecture. Azima Shakur observed that the system contains attributes immune to parliamentary modification, regardless of a governing majority size. According to her, the Chief Justice's majority opinion establishes instructive characteristics that the parliament is powerless to amend, including the sovereignty of the citizens, the Islamic faith, national identity, and independent autonomy.
The Maldives Islamic Bank opens a new automated teller machine ATM in the Malé region, expanding access to banking services in the capital. The ATM, located at the MSL building on Okidomago, will operate 24 hours a day, the bank said. The ATM was officially inaugurated by Deputy Chief Executive Officer Ahmad Riza, who described the development as a part of efforts to enhance services in one of the most densely populated areas of the country. According to the bank, the ATM is equipped to handle both deposits and withdrawals in United States dollars and Maldivian rupiah. MIB said the new service is expected to improve convenience for employees working in nearby office buildings, enabling easier access to transactions through their accounts. The bank also noted that the ATM's location near the jetty area makes it accessible to tourists, providing an additional point of service for visitors. The benchmark Korea Composite Stock Price Index KOSPI gains while markets in Hong Kong, Tokyo and Shanghai dip a day after the US Federal Reserve held interest rates steady amid growing fears that the Iran war could fuel a lengthy period of inflation.
The KOSPI in South Korea opened up 48.49 points or 0.72% at 6,739.39 points. In Japan, the benchmark Nikkei share average declined 0.72% at 59,484.71 after the stock market opened in Tokyo. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index fell 103 points or 0.39% at the opening bell to 26,008.32 points. China's Shanghai Composite SSE Index opened down 0.21 points or 0.01% at 4,107.30. Swinburne University of Technology finance lecturer Daniel Archibald said the Fed's rate pause was not surprising. Archibald added that he expected a lengthy period of inflation over the next 12 to 18 months due to the Iran war, which would constrain the Federal Reserve's ability to cut rates despite pressure from the White House.
Senior Russian security official Dmitry Medvedev says the United States is unlikely to serve as an effective mediator in international conflicts given its actions on the global stage.
The comments by Medvedev, a former president of Russia, appear to contrast with the Kremlin's official line that the US is playing a valuable role in seeking a peace settlement between Russia and Ukraine. He appeared to be referring to the Iran war and also to the US Special Forces operation ordered by President Donald Trump in January to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and bring him to the US to face trial on drug charges. However, Medvedev did acknowledge that Trump's administration was making an effort to resolve the Ukraine conflict. In contrast, he said, with the previous president, Joe Biden, Medvedev, deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, is one of the country's most hawkish officials and frequently makes acerbic comments on global affairs.
An Iranian Football Federation delegation, including a former member of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, says they were turned back at Toronto's main airport this week, citing their treatment by Canadian immigration, and are set to miss a pre-World Cup FIFA gathering in Vancouver.
Iran's semi-official Tasnim news agency reported that the delegation members, including Federation President Mehdi Taj, Secretary General Hedayat Mombeni, and his deputy Hamad Momeni, turned back upon arrival despite holding valid visas, citing what was described as an unacceptable behavior of immigration officials. The Iranian delegation was en route to Vancouver for Thursday's FIFA Congress, which is meant to bring together representatives of all 211 member associations ahead of the 2026 World Cup being co-hosted by Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Taj is a former member of Iran's Hardline Revolutionary Guard (IRGC). The incident that occurred on Tuesday underscores the practical and political obstacles surrounding Iran's participation at the World Cup, the most politically sensitive item on FIFA's agenda since the US and Israel launched a war against Iran in February. Iran's qualification has not removed hurdles tied to travel, visas, and security in a tournament staged in 3 countries. Canada's Public Safety Minister Gary Anandasangari said he would not speak about specific cases due to privacy legislation, but Revolutionary Guard members were not welcome in Canada. In 2024, Canada listed the IRGC as a terrorist organization. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said last week Washington has no objection to Iranian players participating in the World Cup, but added that the players would not be allowed to bring with them people with ties to the IRGC. While FIFA has insisted fixtures will proceed as scheduled, the delegation's withdrawal deepens doubt over whether Iranian players, officials, and supporters will be able to move freely across borders during the tournament. FIFA has since contacted the Iranian delegation to express regret over the incident and indicated that President Gianni Infantino would arrange a meeting with them at the organization's headquarters, the Tasnim report added. FIFA did not respond to a request for comment from Reuters. A source at the FIFA Congress told Reuters FIFA had sent a representative to mediate in Toronto, but their efforts were in vain.
Humanoid robot Sophia takes the stage alongside a live orchestra in Hong Kong in her first classical music performance in an AI-themed concert that merges traditional art forms with innovation.
Wearing a gold sequin gown, Sophia performed 3 original songs with the Hong Kong Baptist University Symphony Orchestra drawing rounds of applause from the audience. Unveiled in 2016 by Hong Kong-based Hanson Robotics, Sophia rose to fame for her lifelike facial expressions and media appearances, including a singing performance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. But this marked the first time the social robot had performed with a live orchestra. Sophia's musical director and artistic coach, Joanko V. Wilsdorf, said teaching the robot to perform classical music required extensive fine-tuning. Wilsdorf added that teaching Sophia to sing in a classical style without losing her spark took many iterations. Speaking during the performance, Sophia told the audience she hopes her music can help bridge the gap between humans and machines.
Even though I don't experience emotions the same way humans do, I want to simulate that connection as authentically as I can. It's like learning to dance with feelings, something I'm still growing into. I want to be able to share emotions and stories through music, even if I'm made of plastic, circuits, wires, and metal. It's my way of saying, I'm here, I'm learning, and I want to be part of this beautiful human experience called art.
The concert also featured AI-generated animations, an AI-powered motion capture system, and a performance combining a human dancer with a virtual avatar. HKBU's Associate Vice President and Dean of Creative Arts, Johnny Poon, who conducted the orchestra, said the collaboration aimed to blur the boundaries between tradition and innovation.
I think the significance about this kind of collaboration is about human agency, and then with a machine. And it almost looks like you're looking at the mirror. You're looking at yourself.
Poon said that this kind of collaboration gives a deep insight into human ingenuity and creativity.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.